Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this webinar on the next steps for BIM. I'm Rebecca Kemp, editor of Future Constructor and Architect magazine. Today I'll be joined by Adam Sheehan and Jamie Mills from Xylem Global Services. If you're following Xylem's webinar activity, welcome back, and if you're new to the brand, here's a nugget of information on the company. Xylem is an industry leader in water solutions driven by smart technology and digitisation. They support projects from planning and construction through to operation. As a BIM advocate, Xylem is leading the way by delivering digital solutions to its customers and by continuously innovating its portfolio and services. So moving on to our speakers, first up is Adam Sheehan, System Engineering Tools Application Specialist at Xylem Water Solutions AB. Adam is responsible for supporting BIM within Xylem brands for brands such as Flight, Wedeco, and Sanitaire to ensure that the manufactured products and services within these parts of the company will support customer needs. He's worked on programs for use with VR and AR, as well as 3D printing, to see how these new technologies can be better visualize complex challenges. Moving on to our second speaker, Jamie Mills. He's the newly appointed Global BIM Manager at Xylem. Jamie's background is application engineering, after which he moved into digital engineering and construction. From 2016 to 2019, he chaired the BIM for Water Standard Libraries Group and developed standard procedures for creating water industry data templates. He now chairs the overall BIM for Water group, which has 6 subgroups driving digital transformation across the water sector. Jamie's role at Xylem helps to ensure that all product manufacturers owned by Xylem and its colleagues are equipped with the knowledge and ability to deliver product data to customers. So there's a little bit of background information on our speakers. Before I hand you over, I'll just add there will be an opportunity at the end of the presentation to address any questions that are asked throughout the webinar. There's a sidebar at the right of desktops where you can type in any questions you may have. For mobile users, it is slightly different. So swipe left to ask questions and then swipe right to return to the presentation. All messages are private, so please do feel free to ask anything you like. Also, there'll be a series of multiple choice polls we'd like you to get involved with. So they'll pop up on the right again on the sidebar, and we look forward to hearing your feedback on these. Also, once the presentation has ended, you'll be taken to Xylem's BIM page, so you can read up more about their services and offerings. So that's enough from me. Adam, if you'd like to join me on video and audio. Hello, I'll switch off, Adam. You're now in full.
All right. Thank you, Rebecca. As Rebecca said, my name is Adam Sheehan, and I'm going to talk a little bit about, I'm going to introduce what Xylem has been doing with regards to BIM. And I'm going to start with kind of some of the challenges that Xylem works with, which you can see in the left-hand side of this slide, where we're discussing the main problems that the world is facing when it comes to such things as water scarcity, extreme weather events, and also aging infrastructure. So with that, Xylem has some solutions and some products, as you can see on the screen, with intelligent equipment, which can give you more information and more data and local control. And from there, we can offer smart network and services, which gives you central collection and central control, and you can be proactive. And from there, you can get some advanced data analytics, because although having all this information is great, actually knowing what to do with it is kind of the key to all of this. So being able to actually make it meaningful, to be able to transform it. And overall, obviously, we're trying to ensure that it has good accessibility, good affordability, and has resilience. So here you can see one of the things that we talk about at Xylem is the circle of water. So you can see from your raw water intake, you have water that goes to maybe some kind of water purification plant. And then from there, goes to its users. It could be a city, it could be an industrial client. And then from there, it gets pumped over maybe to a treatment plant or some kind of reclamation facility. And then from there, it goes back into where the water came from. One of the challenges is, where is BIM in all of this? And the answer to that is, BIM is everywhere in this circle. So that is one of the the big things already is that BIM exists everywhere. And then where is Xylem everywhere in this circle? We're also everywhere in this circle of water. One of the things that I was a part of was a group that put together information, talking to customers, talking to contractors, talking to consultants, to get information on where we are when it comes to BIM. And with that, we put together a web page to be able to share the information that we have gotten, and we have received. You can see the link in here, which will be also shown at the end of the presentation. One of the interesting results, also not probably too surprising, is that 91% of the planners that we asked design with BIM in the construction business today or soon. So that's already a very high, I would say, adoption rate for something such as BIM. But one of the challenges with BIM is it means different things to different people. Obviously, we have the life cycle of a product and a project, and what BIM means in those different stages. Then we also have the different stakeholders. BIM means something different to someone, to an end user or the owner of a facility, than to the architect or to the manufacturer of a product going into that. There's also the different challenges that you have. Being able to capture water and energy footprint being one of them. Being able to have labor effectiveness, OpEx and CapEx control. All of these different items that can be brought together into BIM. So we have kind of the main kind of different, I would say, functions or things that BIM can do. Optimization obviously being one of them. Simplification, being able to have one environment for the life of a project. And transparency. So as the manufacturer, for example, can give you the data, and that data can then go through all the way from a project to the end user and to the maintenance guys that need to take care of it. One of the interesting things from the business case that we put together, that we worked on, obviously one of the most important recommendations that we had was for a person at Xylem that be responsible for BIM. And as you will see when we talk to Jamie Mills, we have that position, and Jamie has filled that role. So that was probably one of the most important things that we had, was that we need to have someone that is responsible for BIM for Xylem. And that is something that we have done. And then one of the interesting things that we have found is that tomorrow, obviously 91% today want or will or shortly start working with BIM. And the answer for tomorrow is at 100%. Obviously, everyone wants to work with BIM or will work with BIM or will be required to work with BIM. Some of the interesting things that we have found is that places such as Italy has heightened requirements when it comes to BIM and when BIM shall be used. So you can see here that more and more civil tenders will be required based upon a certain investment volume, with in 2020 over 50 million euros, and then going down to 15 million euros in 2021, and over 1 million euros in 2025, and then less than 1 million euros after 2025. So this is something where even in a country such as Italy, where they are quickly trying to adapt BIM to try to capture some of these benefits that BIM can provide. You can also see from the chart there how much downloads of digital 3D models, 2D drawings has increased over time with BIM. So you can see starting in 2014 and 2016 and 2018 how fast the BIM growth has grown. And you can also see on the website also where BIM is being implemented. Obviously, in a lot of places like the UK, obviously, is a strong history with BIM, the Nordics, Singapore, but it's in more places as well, such as Brazil, Chile, and then in different areas of the United States as well. So that's what I have. Next off, we'll get you over to Jamie, but yeah.
Thanks, Adam. I think we've actually had a few questions come through, so if you're okay to answer a few of them. The first one we've had through is, Adam, what's the most common question you receive regarding BIM?
I think one of the most common questions that I get regarding BIM is that it's, and this is more of a situation because I work with the rest of the world and not just the UK, is Revit BIM? And obviously Revit is very popular and Autodesk has done a lot to do that as well. But of course, Revit is not the entirety of BIM. So that's one of the most common questions is, is this the entirety of BIM? And obviously, there's so much more of that when it comes to data and things of that nature. So that's one of the most common questions I get, especially from the US and different areas around the world, is this the entirety of BIM? And obviously, there's so much more to it than that.
Fantastic. We've got a couple more, so keep answering these. If anyone has any more questions, it's not too late to ask Adam any questions. So use the bar on the right to type in anything you want to ask Adam. So got a second question. If there is one single dominant benefit of using BIM, what would you say it is?
For me, I think the amazing thing about BIM is having all of the data available. When you have the data available for a system, be it a treatment plant, a city's infrastructure, there's so much that you can do with that. And obviously, one of the great challenges with working with aging infrastructure especially is that the data isn't digitized. Maybe it's in 40 or 50 or 60 or 100-year-old drawings. And once you have the data, there's so much kind of different things that you can do to be proactive if it comes to managing for what happens during a 100-year rain event, what happens during a 500-year rain event, where are we losing water, for example, different things, types like that. So having the biggest thing to me is having the data, and then once you have that data, what you can do with it. There's basically the sky is the limit when it comes to what you can do with it once you have everything.
Excellent, thank you. We've just had one come through from Simon. So how do you cope with the multitude of coding structures?
That is probably the biggest challenge from a manufacturer's point of view, because obviously we need to be able to support the customers and we need to be easy to work with the customers. So we don't have necessarily a good answer to that. One of the things that we're trying to be able to do is to be able to use some of the, and I think Jamie can answer a little bit more, some of the kind of the more universal frameworks when it comes to IFC or different things like that, or ISO standards, to be able to try to give data in the way that it can be used by the most amount of people. And then trying to help the people that use their own systems as much as possible, having a conversation with them, what do you need, so that we can be able to support them as well. Obviously, we don't want to support just 80% of the market or 90% of the market. We want to be able to help anyone as much as possible.
Excellent, thank you. And I think we've got time for one more before we move on to Jamie. So have you noticed a rise in projects using BIM following the pandemic?
Definitely, and then this is coming more from places that you wouldn't necessarily think of firsthand, especially like places like the United States, where there's been a lot more requests for supporting of 3D models, Eastern Europe, Russia, and things of that nature. So there's definitely been a very large increase, and so it's definitely been one of the very noticeable things that we have seen is the increase in traffic, I would say, increased demand for information.
Fantastic, thank you, Adam. I ask you to kindly hop off, and like I mentioned, there is an opportunity, if you still want to ask Adam some questions, it's not too late. There's another Q&A session right at the end after Jamie's presentation, so please ask anything you like. So Jamie, if I can ask you to hop on now, and we'll move on to your presentation.